You said tracking us was for safety, then you punished her for going to the bathroom. These access cards aren't here to monitor your bathroom breaks, they're for your safety. Leslie's voice cut through the company-wide meeting, smooth and metallic. Any unauthorized absence from your station is a violation of protocol. Amy stood up, hands on her hips. Someone in the crowd chuckled. So now you're monitoring our bodily functions? She shot back, her voice steady. I was late returning from the lounge last week because of IBS. You made me explain myself. If I told the truth, it would have gone on my record, right? Leslie's smile vanished. Amy, this is about efficiency. Efficiency? Amy said. Or control? You've turned clocking in into punishment. Amy, please calm down. Leslie snapped. The room grew tense. I leaned back, listening. All I could think of was the sealing machine that had been down for an entire day, the grinding sound of its gears still echoing in my head. That breakdown cost us $50,000, and the invoice was still blinking red in my inbox. After the meeting, John gathered the engineers. Who heard the machine alarm that night but didn't report it? Amy stared him down. You know why. I got written up last time for stepping away from my station. Since then, who dares to move? You installed this surveillance system, and now we're slaves to both data and our own bodies. Then why didn't anyone trigger the alert manually? I asked. The system went off, but no one confirmed it on site. Someone must have been there. Mike adjusted his glasses. I was nearby. I heard the sound, but I was logging my work hours. If I left my station, it would have flagged me as off-post. Amy let out a bitter laugh. You wanted efficiency. What you got was fear. You made silence safer than responsibility. That night, Isabel texted me, say the word when you're ready. She was a friend of mine from legal, now consulting for the company. She offered to quietly review the evidence we'd gathered. I spent hours piecing together badge swipe data, alarm logs, and security footage into a minute-by-minute timeline. The evidence lined up perfectly, alarms ringing, no one responding, every worker trapped between duty and discipline. The problem wasn't lazy employees. It was a system that punished anyone who dared to act. 2 days later, we met in the break room. Julie opened her laptop. If we connect these data points, they can't just blame us for slacking off. Mike warned. Be careful. If management sees this, they'll make one of us the scapegoat. Let them try. I said. We're not doing this for credit. We're doing it for change. We formed a small group, 5 of us, and called it Echo. Our first act was to send an anonymous email to the compliance inbox. The subject line was plain and sharp. Urgent, safety reporting discrepancies. 2 hours later, internal audit came knocking. Todd, the safety director, looked grim. Someone sent data anonymously. You realize what that means? It means someone has to take responsibility. I replied calmly. And it's not the engineers. Anonymous submissions aren't professional. He barked. We need a source. The source is reality. Mike said flatly. The machine was screaming, and your process silenced us. Todd didn't reply. The only sound left was our breathing. That night, at the supervisor meeting, Leslie slammed the documents onto the podium. We promote a culture of discipline here. Unscheduled absences reduce output. I raised my hand. Do you know why that machine broke down? The alarm went off, but no one reported it, because everyone was afraid to be flagged as away from station. Leslie's face tightened. Are you implying there's something wrong with our system? I'm saying there's something wrong with how it treats people, I said. When surveillance replaces trust, safety stops meaning anything. Her assistant tried to smooth things over. We'll investigate. But let's be reasonable, some absences are abuse. Amy cut in sharply. You treat exceptions like the rule. You treat people like numbers, and lost a whole machine because of it. Management panicked. They issued a memo about reinforcing discipline and streamlining attendance. We knew complaining wouldn't fix anything. So we planned our next move. Quietly, we formatted our findings for external auditors, timelines, losses, safety logs. Then we sent them, anonymously, to the company's insurer and risk assessors. Mike asked during the night shift. You're really going to leak this? I have to, I said. If insurance gets involved, the company will have to admit the truth. External pressure is the only catalyst that works. Amy smirked. And when they find out, they'll call you a traitor. Then let the facts speak for themselves, I replied. We're not traitors, we're trying to save lives. 2 days later, Todd's inbox pinged with a message from an external auditor. Request for loss investigation. Attached were our files, the timeline, repair invoices, and footage stills.at. The next management meeting, Todd looked pale. We've got third-party inquiries into the incident, he said. For the first time, Leslie looked rattled. We need an internal explanation. Explain what? I said. That you tied safety to timecards instead of trust? Board Rep Gomez glared. Matt, are you accusing leadership? Not accusing, I said. Reminding you, when a system makes silence the safest choice, disaster is inevitable. As rumors spread, management scrambled. They pressured key staff, looking for leaks. So Echo changed tactics. We used internal automation to mirror their surveillance back at them, sending anonymous reports to executives' private inboxes with subject lines like, "Review required, unusual executive movement patterns." Each report contained harmless, anonymized data showing their own card swipes, coffee breaks, late-night logins. At the end of each message, a single line. If the system can punish us, it can judge you too. It wasn't revenge, it was perspective. A few execs went pale. One VP found me later by the coffee machine. Matt, he whispered, your methods are extreme. But you made your point. I smiled. If it's not extreme, it doesn't work. Weeks passed. Change started to take root. Maintenance response times were added to KPIs. Supervisors were now required to log why an alert went unaddressed. HR softened its stance. Employees could now leave their stations for urgent reasons without being penalized. More importantly, people started to talk again. During one morning meeting, Amy stood and said to Todd, "If anyone had dared to come to you that night, the machine wouldn't have died." Todd lowered his head. "You're right. I won't let a system make that mistake for us again." For the first time, the room was silent, not from fear, but from understanding. The upper management tried to fight back with slogans. Discipline must continue. Efficiency above all. But every time they said it, someone would ask, "At what cost?" And they had no good answer. By the time the annual report was published, the board had created a new Safety and Process Review Committee, now with employee representation. Leslie was reassigned to a project role. Todd was tasked with redesigning the safety workflow and adding manual overrides. It wasn't revenge. It was reform. One morning, Todd stopped me in the hallway. "Matt," he said quietly. "Thank you. Without you guys, we'd still be blind. This wasn't just me," I told him. "It was all of us." Amy waved from across the room. "Hey, heard we can finally go to the bathroom without being tracked." I laughed. "Progress, right?" Change didn't come overnight, but it came. Machines were repaired, policies rewritten, people rediscovered their voices. Julie said it best one afternoon over lunch. "We didn't do something heroic. We just put humanity back into the system." I nodded. Technology's neutral. It saves or destroys depending on who's holding it. That evening, I watched the factory lights dim, one by one. Outside, the sky bled into ink, quiet, steady, alive. The fight wasn't over. But the silence was. If they ever try to use data to control people again, Echo will be there, turning information back into what it was meant to be, a tool to protect, not a weapon to control.